So Christine's worrisome behavior was compounded by like the fact that she was considered developmentally disabled. She was prone to obesity, and she suffered from fits of epilepsy and aggression. So Christine was never able to acquire developmental skills beyond those of a sixth grader. Now, because of Christine's appearance, her poor social skills, and the fact that she wasn't very intellectual, she got picked on a lot. Okay, a lot of the kids that were at that foster home were just mean to her, picked on her, made fun of her, called her, I don't know what they called her, but it was said that they had a lot of cruel commentary. And just after 1 year of staying at Great Oaks, both of the girls were sent back to live with the Fallings. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I thought I guess because technically, like, the father wasn't convicted of anything, so they must be fine. So bad. But they get sent back to live with the Fallings, and, the physical and sexual abuse, it just continues on. I guess there was like one instance in October of 1975 where the adoptive father, Jesse, had like beat Christine so bad that, it left her all bruised and battered. And then like the next day he forced her to wear shorts to school so everyone could see the quote unquote justice marks. Like, he was fucking sick. I guess after that instance happened, like literally the very next day, both of the girls, Christine and Carol, they ran away. I guess they ran away to one of Carol's friend's house where like the family took them in. But after a few weeks together, Christine took off and went to go live with their birth mother, Anne. Yeah, she was in like Bluntstown, Florida. I don't know how she found her, but she found her. So she's down in Bluntstown, and Bluntstown was like a small farming town. At the time, it had a population of 2,400 people. I don't know if it's still like that today, but small. And again, because it's small, like, I say it a lot, but it's one of those places where everybody knew one another and they knew everyone's business. So then at the age of 14, Christine, don't ask me how, there's a lot of blanks here, but she's 14 and she ends up marrying a man in his 20s. I don't know. Obviously not great, right? But it happens. They get married. And I guess the marriage, like right off the bat, there was daily beatings and altercations. And it was said that at one point, like, they had gotten into a really bad fight, and Christine, 14, she picks up this 25-pound stereo. She chucks it at the guy. Like, just throws that at his head. And I guess after that, the marriage ended. Like, the marriage ended in divorce after like 6 weeks. So it was quick, very quick. Not sure how it happened, but it ended just as quick. So that happened. So like after her failed marriage, this is when Christine started to have like hypochondriac like episodes. Over the course of 2 years, she was hospitalized 50 times. 50. She had complained of hallucinations. She was seeing like red dots in her eyes. She claimed that her menstrual bleeding was like super. She thought she was dying, essentially. I think she just didn't understand like how her body worked, but like she still went to the doctors over it because she was freaking out. And then she, on multiple different occasions, she had gone to the doctor saying she had snake bites, but like no snake bites. It was like weird. But doctors, like, they would see her every time, but they were never able to find anything wrong with her. So when Christine was 17, that's when she started working as like the local babysitter for neighbors and friends. Despite her limitations, she's still in the neighborhood. She was known for like deeply caring for children, and she was also just pretty reliable. So in February of 1980, Christine was caring for 2-year-old Cassidy Johnson. And I guess Cassidy Johnson was doing fine. And then in the middle of her having to babysit, Cassidy had to be rushed to the hospital. So Christine had told the doctors and whatnot that Cassidy had passed out and then fell out of the crib. She had no idea what happened. And the hospital staff, they were all praising her, like, "Oh my God, Christine, you're so great. You handled this emergency so well." Because I guess Christine had wrapped the baby Cassidy in a blanket and had attempted mouth to mouth resuscitation on her way to the hospital, allegedly. While at the hospital, baby Cassidy was diagnosed with encephalitis, which is brain inflammation, and baby Cassidy would die like a few days later. The autopsy listed the cause of death as blunt force trauma to the skull, which you'd think would like raise some flags, but it sure didn't. Sure didn't. Now, the physician who initially saw baby Cassidy did not believe Christine's story about, the baby falling out of the crib. And this physician was like, something ain't right. They wrote a note and they were like, look into Christine. Handed it to the police in hopes that they would investigate it further. But the note that they wrote was somehow lost. They misplaced it. Police did do an interview with Christine, but there was no evidence, that was brought against her, so the case was closed. So that same month, Christine was caring for 4-year-old Jeffrey Davis, watching them for the night. Everything's going fine, and then out of nowhere, Jeffrey stopped breathing. So Christine, she dials 911. And the paramedics, they rush to the house, but when they get there, it was too late, and they were unable to save little Jeffrey. So, this death was also like really suspicious, but an autopsy was ordered, and the cause of death was listed as myocarditis. Sorry if it was a heart condition that is rarely fatal. But still, the medical examiner noted that there was no other potential cause of death, and therefore the case was closed. They're like, oh, that's rare. Close that case. Solved. Okay, well, Christine life just continues on. Okay.